If you hadn't heard, there was a police officer shooting in Philadelphia where a person by the name of Edward Archer, who is described as being Muslim, attempted to ambush and kill a police officer. I'm going to play a good portion of the commentary on MSNBC, but I have several questions regarding this. First and foremost, prayers out to the officer's family, Officer Harnett, for a speedy recovery. Now, I'm going to play the video from MSNBC, and then, as I stated earlier, I'm going to make my commentary.
Ross Jr. And interesting fact, he was just sworn in as the police commissioner on Tuesday of this week. He has served in Philadelphia in uniform since 1989, was the deputy commissioner. But he is really being put to the test this week, as you saw him talk about just how remarkable this video is of Officer Jesse Harnett surviving this ambush-style type of almost execution. That the suspect, he says, coming up to that patrol car window and opening fire. 11 shots, they say, 3 of which hit Officer Harnett in the left arm. He was taken into surgery, but we see him jump out of the vehicle and chase the suspect. And this is what the police commissioner said could have easily have been a police funeral, a discussion about that, as opposed to talking about the bravery demonstrated, the remarkable bravery demonstrated in this incident. But what we do know is that the shooter has declared a motive, saying from the police commissioner that this man seen here, a 30-year-old male from Yeadon, Pennsylvania, which is in Upper Darby, that's about 10 miles from Philadelphia, he confessed and committed this shooting in the name of Islam. This was a 9mm, again, at close range. One of the questions fired off by reporters was about whether or not this person is radicalized or not. Ari Melber, I know you were watching as we were, trying to figure out if they were going to be able to make that type of clarification, because that would be very important.
Yeah, I mean, watching this, Thomas, watching that dramatic video, this is what heroism looks like. I mean, you watch that video, it's honestly incredible. I'm thinking about, there it is, the assailant coming up there, going to point-blank range, shooting this officer several times, running, and then the officer, you see him getting out of his car in pursuit, even though, as we just learned in the press conference, he was losing blood, he was significantly harmed, immobilized in his left arm, according to the chief, but then, there you see it, getting out of that car. The car door opens, he's radioed it in, and he goes in pursuit of that would-be murderer, of that assailant. Incredible policing, incredible bravery. From the press conference, the line that jumped out to me from the chief was, his will to live undoubtedly saved his life. You know, this was not your typical press conference about a crime, although they went through the issues that you just discussed, including this assailant's discussion of being an allegiance to ISIS, although no suggestion of any sort of operational coordination there, just an individual who said he saw this as some sort of attempt at an Islamic crime and an attempt at some sort of would-be support for ISIS, but an unusual press conference in other ways, because they talked about the grace of God, they talked about the heroism, they talked about how it's incredible this officer's alive, Thomas.
Now, Ari Melber is making a leap, and I'm not even going to get into him. I just want to discuss the circumstances surrounding this. Now, initially you saw that the assailant, Mr. Archer, started firing at the police car while the police car was moving, and I don't understand why the officer stopped the car, because if bullets are flying at me, if anything, I'm putting my foot on the gas to get away from it. But that being said, how in the hell does this officer get shot 3 times in the arm when the assailant supposedly fires 11 shots at him? Some of the shots apparently or reportedly were fired from point blank range, which you saw in one of the stills. Now, any of you who've fired a gun at close proximity know that the sound that the gun makes is almost, and it's ear shadowing. so that if that gun had been fired inside of that police car, the officer should have at least been stunned just from the sound wreaking havoc on his eardrums. Now, it's possible, but they didn't say it, that the assailant wasn't able to fire any shots while he was up at the car. And, you know, I don't have any commentary or knowledge on that one. But if 11 shots were fired using the semi-automatic 9mm handgun, which, by the way, was stolen from a police officer 2 years ago, you know, I got some real issues here. Then the guy's running away, and they claim that he was firing as he was running away. How in the heck, if your ears are killing you from shots being fired at such close proximity, do you get up out of your car, you're wounded, to lay chase to somebody that's shooting at you? This stuff just doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But I guess as time goes on, we'll get some more information. So anyway, again, prayers out to Officer Jesse Harnett for a speedy recovery. And this guy, Archer, is going to be in for a world of hurt for attempted murder on a police officer. They did indicate that he uttered some kind of allegiance to the jihadi movement. I don't know about that. We'll have to get some more information on that later. And the mayor did ask that people not look at this as some type of Islamic attack, even though the guy did utter what he uttered. In my opinion, this guy's probably got some mental issues that they're going to probably uncover when they do a further investigation into it.